Hello, everybody. I'm Peter Goldstein, founder and Chief Synergy Officer at the Vegan Community. Thank you for being here. I'm so honored to have Dr. Will Tuttle with us today. He's a visionary educator, a musician, an internationally best-selling author of The World Peace Diet and The World Peace Way. He is also our advisor to the Ahimsa Yoga and Veganism Passion Pod. So we want to have a conversation today about something critical I think most people miss. So Dr. Tuttle, you've been doing vegan education and advocacy for 40 years now. What's the difference for you between teaching someone to go vegan and teaching someone to advocate for veganism?
Right. Yeah, that's the first step, of course, is just understanding what veganism is. The first stage, it's the beginning stage. And then pretty much everyone, after they learn the many benefits of vegan living, arises within them and is kindled a spirit of sharing this with others. The good news that we don't have to imprison other living beings and cut down rainforests and so forth to thrive and celebrate our lives on this beautiful and abundant earth that we're on. And so we very often go to our friends and neighbors and relatives and acquaintances and business associates and everyone we know and tell them the good news, and very often they're not interested, which can be exacerbating. And we feel very often alone or threatened, perhaps, by the fact that we're different. We're not eating the tribal food. So there's a difference, as you say, between learning to be a vegan and also advocating, but they're very closely intertwined because to be a happy, healthy vegan, we're in society. And so it's very important for us to be able to navigate social situations gracefully and also in a way that we feel honored and respected. And we're also honoring and respecting everyone else around us because we live in a society where, as human beings, we're very sensitive to each other's responses to how we speak and so forth. So if we come off as being either superior, or acting somehow like we're antagonistic in some way to people's most fundamental important thing, which is food, then we're sowing the seeds for unhappiness, I think, really for ourselves in many ways. So learning vegan advocacy is actually very important because as vegans, we are not living in a bubble. We are with other people, and we can try to avoid talking about veganism. I call that the closet vegan stage. We can go through a stage of being a closet vegan, and it's not that fulfilling if we just like, don't talk to me, I don't want to talk about it. Because, food is something that's we're eating with other people typically, and it's not that helpful to avoid the subject. But then that brings up the question of then how do I actually talk about something that's very important to me, but also very different, fundamentally different from the way most people are eating. And it shows a completely different foundation in many ways to the way we look at animals and ecosystems in our relationships. So it's a very important distinction and in question to address.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So we need, excuse me, we need skills and communications. We need to show up and meet people where they are. We need to not be pushy. And really the key here is that we need to have that satisfaction. If we're just feeling like we're battling and pushing people away, then that makes it really tough. And to find ways to advocate, find ways that to be satisfied in the process. And thing comes to mind for me is that so many teachers have said it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So being able to have
Right.
a fulfilling advocacy journey and then being fulfilled along the way, creating more relationships, creating closer relationships is fulfilling then.
Well, okay. So the thing is, what you're touching on all these different issues, and I've been advocating for veganism for 46 years, and I can say is you need a course, right? I mean, it's not some simple little thing. You say, oh, two little rules, and then you just follow that, and live happily ever after. It really needs, it's an ongoing learning. It's actually a big deal. And it has a lot to do with learning to listen and also letting go of, I think, the sense of pressure that we feel as vegans that we have to get people to change because of the animals, because of their health, because of the environment, because of spirituality, because of world peace. We feel this pressure, this urgency, and that's because we care. So it's not to say we shouldn't feel a sense of the urgency to make positive change, but to understand essentially, and this is I think the big thing, is that as soon as I come along and have this basic underlying energy and narrative that I'm right and the other person, the pre-vegan, the non-vegan, is wrong because they're eating suffering and violence and toxicity and I'm not, the other people feel that. The people who are eating normally feel that we have this fundamental gulf and that I'm trying to change them. And even if I don't do it overtly, they still feel it. So I know very well. I spend quite a few years trying to, as I say, shake people until they go vegan and try to really get them to understand and so forth. And realize that ultimately it creates more resistance. We can only change one person, and that's the one that I am, this one here. I can bring my own life into deeper and more profound alignment with the underlying ethic of what veganism is, which is loving kindness for all living beings, for other living beings. It's very profound. It's very universal. It's also nothing esoteric. It's very basic, just to live my life as best I can to minimize the suffering that I'm causing other human beings, animals, ecosystems, future generations, and so forth through my purchases and my way of living. That's all veganism is. It's not veganism. It's just doing my best to be kind and loving. And so the problem is we're born in a culture where people are taught to just ignore the impact that their food choices is actually having. And so we come along and we're pointing that out. And so we are disrupting them. They're a little bit threatened. They are maybe a lot threatened by just our presence. So if we let go of trying to change them and work on just changing ourselves to embody the vegan message of kindness and love, and then just plant seeds. So planting seeds is not the same as trying to change someone. I can plant seeds by simply speaking my truth. Like Gandhi said, satyagraha, that means truth power, the power of just speaking the truth that I've discovered in I would say a very short and succinct way that doesn't try to change them, not to really try to let go of even wanting to change another person, because that has the underlying idea that they're wrong and I'm right. And that always just leads to division. So just planting the seed, for example, I suggest, as just one example, saying, I'm so happy that I discovered that the only reason I was eating animal foods all the years that I did was because I was just following orders and I'm not doing it anymore, and it's great. That basic idea, that's true for everyone. Whoever they are, they're going through the same thing. So I think we have to realize that we just can plant our seed and then let go, like all the great spiritual teachings say, don't be attached to the fruit of your actions. Just do your best and then let go. And we find, this is what I've discovered for myself, that the more we do this, the irony is we become more effective. The weird thing is, the more I try to change other people, the more they fight back, and I don't change anybody. And then the more I don't try to change anybody else, I just work on changing myself and really living this, the more miraculously people start changing. They become more like compassionate and kind, the more I'm exemplifying compassion and kindness and not exemplifying being self-righteous and judgmental and blaming and shaming and guilt-tripping people. So I think the natural tendency among us as vegans is to criticize others who are not eating animal foods. And it's understandable. We think, oh, they're so blind. Don't they realize? It's so obvious. And we forget that we were the same way probably for 20 or 30 or 40 years ourselves. And it's not that obvious. And it is a big deal to eat different food than everybody else in our tribal reality. So there's definite skills we can develop, internal skills and external skills, learning to understand the other person, listen, remembering the old rule, a person will listen to me as much as they feel I am listening to them. So if we don't listen to them as much as we want them to listen to us, we're breaking that rule, and people are not going to really listen. And especially if they think that we're trying to change them. So again, it takes a training, I think a practice, a series of learnings to go through. Role playing helps, and by doing this, we can gradually develop an ability. It's like anything. We develop through practice. So it's good just to practice this and also do the inner work. That's the most important thing, I think. And so there's a number of different meditation practices and other inner practices that we can do that so that our mind is based in a sense of inner peace and gratitude and an inner sense of joy that isn't dependent on what other people do. So that's really the whole thing. It's the idea that our movement for the liberation of animals is really a movement for the liberation of humanity. And when to do that, like Gandhi said, we need to be the change that we would like to see. We can't expect other people to change if we're not really changing. And that change is twofold. It's not just the outer practice of what we're eating, it's the inner orientation. And even if I just go vegan, there's still huge amounts more that I really need to do the inner work. It's not enough just to go vegan. And that's great, but that's not enough. To be an effective advocate, that's not enough. So I think that's the basic idea. And to also just recognize that everyone has their own unique strengths and own unique perspective and abilities, and not to say this is the way you do advocacy. It has to be like this. No, there's many different ways. I don't think anyone has a monopoly on the one right way to do it, but it does come back to us changing ourselves. And then from that, we can create our cooking class, we can create our book, we can create our video, we can create our conversations that we're having. But it comes back to getting a good foundation.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Those are such important principles as we're co-creating the future of vegan advocacy. To be able to, you've said so many beautiful things, and I love that you said it will take practice. I totally agree with you. And that's what the Vegan Advocacy Academy at the vegan community is doing, is creating this environment where vegans can learn the skills and practice those skills and learn more skills and strategies and have the conversations with each other, with the experts, with the leaders. And what we're looking for here at this point is we're looking to launch the Vegan Advocacy Academy, and we're looking for people who are leaders who have insight and wisdom on how to help vegans be more effective advocates. So the Vegan Academy, the courses in the Vegan Academy are for that. And at this point, we're looking for people to co-create the academy with us. We're looking for 6 to 8 course creators who we can launch the academy with. And of course, the vision and long term is to grow the numbers of courses, grow the opportunities to practice these skills.
Mm.
And yeah, so that's if that resonates for you, and if you're watching this video and that resonates for you, please go to the vegancommunity.com and look for the course creators on the top menu. Take a look at that page. Read about the program that we're offering. We're looking to launch the academy, create some amazing leading edge courses, some high quality world class courses. And we would love to work with you and see your application for to be a course creator with us. Our program then offers full support throughout the whole process. It's a 6-week program to create a course with expert guidance with Stephanie Redcross and our expert team. We're going to guide you to ideating, to creating workbooks, we will upload the courses, we'll edit the videos, we'll take care of everything. And that's our gift to you and to the vegan world. So we want to launch this academy. We want to have a place where it's vegan education, but more than that, it's vegan advocacy education. So we can all leave the frustration behind and become fulfilled advocates, because that's really what it is. To make this a lasting thing, a lot of vegans have given up on advocacy because it's so frustrating. But tell me, Dr. Tuttle, do you agree? I mean, there has to be ways that we can, and we've seen people successfully advocate and be satisfied and fulfilled in the process.
Right. That's a very important point. And I love what you're doing and the idea that we can have a number of different advocacy approaches for different populations and so forth. And yes, I mean, for me and my wife Madeline, both of us, it's really a way of living that does bring great joy, because it's based on a deeper mission. Like, we have a mission, I guess, for this lifetime to grow spiritually and also to share as best we can the good news that we can transform our society by transforming our relationship with nature and animals, and that's with each other as well. And so there's an underlying sense of gratitude, a sense of joy every morning, a sense of joy to have another day to learn and grow, contribute, to remember, and to try to embody more in a more fulfilling way, because our life is brief, really, on this earth. And so to come here and do something that really, in an effective way, does contribute to a better future for our children and grandchildren of all beings, that's to have lived our life well. And I can't think of a better way, quite honestly, than to effectively, as best we can, share this message of liberation, of healing, of peace and harmony, of abundance. It's in alignment with all the world's wisdom traditions. It's what is referred to in the spiritual traditions as sacred service. And it's without sacred service, our lives are empty. But with sacred service, we're fulfilling our destiny. We're fulfilling our really our in a deep way our duty as human beings to pass on a better world for the future. And we each have a part to play. So I want to thank everyone who's interested in this, because I think it's a tremendous gift we can give, not only to ourselves, but to everyone.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so very much. It was so wonderful spending this time with you, Dr. Tuttle. And if you're a leader, if you've written books, blogs, if you've spoken, if you have a wisdom to share and would like to broaden your reach with your teachings, please consider being a course creator and help launch the Vegan Advocacy Academy. Let's create the next wave of what vegan advocacy will be like, so we can all be fulfilled and successful and make a difference in the lives of all the people and all the animals that we care so much about. So with that, thank you very much, and
Yeah.
look forward to next time. What am I doing?